Alrighty. Twitch chat, Wardog message over. Welcome guys to another Thursday stream, and this time we're going to be starting a new game. Well, not new to the channel because I streamed it last year when it was released, but I was not impressed with it last year. Imperator Rome is the game I'm talking about, obviously, it's in the title. Paradox interactive game. Paradox is one of my favourite game studios after Creative Assembly. And yeah, like normally I buy their games, I buy them all up front, I enjoy them straight away. They do improve on them with DLC, but typically even the base game is enjoyable and the DLCs all add something completely new. With Imperator, I didn't feel like they'd achieved that, but they have been adding to it, putting in new DLCs and patching it to change it up, which is one of the things that I like about Paradox, is that they don't just stick with this is what we said we're going to do and you know that's what we're going to do. They do actually pay attention to, just resizing and moving my chat box around, guys, hang on. They do actually pay attention to feedback from the community. So they've been improving the game. I've been playing it a little bit offline to get used to it, but I'm quite happy with it now. I like it. It's fun. And because we had a terrible time on Total War Rome 2 Divide et Impera mod, we're going to be trying some Imperator instead, because I do not think I'm very good at DEI. Someone was talking about Bannerlord getting dismemberment and people were like, don't give them DLC's idea, they aren't CA. To be fair, you know, CA's policy on that, I get it, like they can't include it in the base game. Should they be charging for it? Probably not, but you know, it's got to be a separate DLC because it's got to be personal choice to put it on. Been lurking since the stream countdown had 1 hour, Imotech. Thank you for the lurk, buddy. Setting up an ambush there. Nate coming in. What up, what up, what up? They can't include it in the base game, Tyler, because if it's included in the base game, it has to have like basically like the maturity rating and stuff. Like essentially, if it's part of the package and you don't get a choice and it's just an in-game option, I think that there's like legal issues, especially in places like China and stuff. So they take it out and then offer it as a DLC. And I think what it is they don't offer that DLC in markets where they shouldn't have it, like in China, for example. So they can still sell the games in China, but they don't sell them the DLC with the blood and the gore because it's illegal. But if they had it as part of the game and it was an option, they wouldn't be able to sell the game there. That's why they do it. The charging them bit, I don't necessarily agree with it, but the separate DLC thing, I completely know, I get why it has to be done that way. No worries, Mike. You focus on work, mate. That's what's important. Make sure you've got the ability to provide and such for your family. Don't worry about the stream at all, man. Like, I mean, if you want to leave a lurk, that's incredibly helpful. But please focus on work. It is illegal to have blood and guts in a game in China. Yeah, exactly, Imotech. I think it's mostly for the Chinese market that it's a separate DLC. And they just don't offer it in that market. Alright, we're going to get rolling. We're going to go with single player. We're going to go with a new game. I don't know why that is. Obviously, for those of you who aren't aware, this is the map for Imperator Rome. It's the ancient world, so you can't go beyond the edges. But it's, you know, there's Celtic tribes, Germanic tribes, Gallic tribes, Iberian tribes, Rome themselves, Carthage, the successor states to Alexander's empire, such as Phrygia, Egypt, the Seleucids, of course, and then you've got people like Macedon, Epirus, city-states like Sparta and Athens, and the map extends all the way over to the Indian subcontinent and into the Himalayas as well. So it's a massive map. I don't know if you can tell, there's like a distinct, well, you can see it now. This bit is outside the map. This uncoloured bits in here is basically just colonizable space, so you can actually get this. It's just not got anybody living there at the start. So, we already know who we're playing as. We're going to be playing as Sparta, because we're going to be picking up the spiritual successor to our DEI campaign that didn't go very well. I don't think I'm going to play in Iron Man mode just because it's the stream and I don't want to do it that way. We're going to put mixed gender rules on, mostly because ticking this option doesn't actually turn them on. It just gives you the option to turn them on and off in the game. And I'd prefer to have that option available for a Twitch stream. So we're going to be kicking off. We are playing as Sparta. We don't own much territory. We just own the southern end of Greece here. We have Spartan heritage. I don't fully understand all of what these are, but Spartan heritage, we are a stratocratic monarchy. We are Hellenic, which is ancient Greek, and our culture is Lacedaemonian, which is a subculture of ancient Greece. Our Basileus, which is Greek for king, is Arius the First Agiad. I believe this may be the Arius who we started with in the DEI campaign. I think it's around about the same time. The game is going to say that it's 450 AUC for Ad Urbe Condita, from the founding of the city of Rome. But in dates that you're more likely to understand, it's 304 BCE, before the Common Era. Yeah, we've got 6 territories at the start, 65 total pops, and that's the spread of our pops. But we're not going to bother too much with looking at it on this screen. We'll just kick it off. You can play in Scandinavia? Yes, son, you can. With the, I guess, the ancient like successors, predecessors to the Vikings, people like Saxon tribes and stuff that migrated up there. Iron Man is lame. Iron Man's how I play my single players. Few hundred years before we became badass. Yeah, it's kind of like the proto-badass phase. Anyway, Alexander the Great. In Babylon, 18 years ago, the Argiad... Oh, I hate Greek names. Argiad? How would that be pronounced? Argiad. I think it'd be Argiad. So in Babylon, 18 years ago, the Argiad king Alexander died suddenly at the age of 32. In the 5 years preceding his death, his continuing military successes had reshaped the world as known to the Greeks, his empire stretching uninterrupted from Egypt to the Indus. The shock of Alexander's early death and his lack of a chosen successor sent shockwaves through the hierarchy of satraps and generals who attended him, splintering his empire into elements ruled by these potentates, styled as the Diadochi. For many years they and their successors have been locked in a bitter struggle over the future of the empire, drawing all nations within their sphere of influence into the conflict. The wars of the Diadochi will surely continue. Perhaps it is up to Sparta to decide how they will end. The die is cast. Which is actually a quote from Caesar, not anybody remotely Greek, but I guess the die is cast. So as we start off here, we can see our territories down here. And we of course have Sparta. We have a territory called Githaion, Tainaron, Kephanta, Epidaurus, and it looks like we have Kythera down here as a little island province as well. I'm still kind of learning the game. There's still bits that I don't understand, and it's going to look very complicated for those of you who are used to Total War, or those of you who aren't even comfortable with Total War yet. But essentially, we're mostly going to try and address these things. The first thing we're going to do is click this and say, embrace social equity. So Sparta enables both men and women to serve in office. This is the option that I just allowed. If you don't allow it, this isn't even here to click. It's historical. Let us break the barriers of bygone tradition and let all stand for office. So it does actually cost me 25 political influence to turn this on, which is a resource. That's basically the most you need to know. These are your resources at the top. Money, manpower, political influence, military experience, stability. There's a lot of them, but essentially I don't worry about them unless I'm looking at what am I losing in one. So I'm losing 25 political influence, which I have 100 of. That's fine. We're going to turn that on. Next up, we've got some disloyal characters, but I don't think that there's anything we can do about them right now. We have unused trade routes in our capital, so we're going to go to import, and the ones with check marks are the ones that we can trade for. So what we're going to want is, oops, that's not what I wanted. If I hover over this, you can see it says surplus in the capital gives us a bonus, and if we export it, we get an additional bonus, and each surplus in a province provides its own bonus. So essentially the surplus in the capital is the one that we're trying to look for when we're importing. I want that extra 10% to heavy infantry discipline, so the only people who would sell us this are the Hellenistic local power of Nesiotic League. I don't know where the hell they are. If I click back, I'm trying to make sure they don't live too super close to us, because we'd probably end up having to kill them then. But there is something handy when you mouse over somebody's flag, although it's not doing it right now. That's annoying. There we go. We can do a search. Nesiotic League are apparently these islands over here to the east. I'm quite happy to trade with them for the time being. So we shall say, please import iron from there. We've then got a couple of other spots available. Just trying to see which ones of these would be the most useful. National commerce income, 5% for dates is probably a good one to have. So we can get dates from Egypt, from 3 different settlements of theirs, apparently. Parva, Ammon, and Karga. So we're going to use the find tool again to see where Parva's there. Ammon is there. And Karga is down there. I think the one that they're least likely to lose here is going to be Parva. So we'll take it from Parva. And you can see we are now importing dates from province of Parva to province of Laconia, which is ours. Laconia gains the following benefits. Local freeman happiness plus 5%. So, hold on. No, I don't want the army. That doesn't seem to have done the thing that I wanted it to do, though. So I'm just going to test by getting some more from Ammon. Okay, so you do need a surplus of 1, basically, to get the national one. So now we've got the national commerce income 5%, which is good. And then we need to find something else. Stone wouldn't be too bad. Do we have our own stone? We do not. So it would provide extra fort defense. What have we got? Fish, wine, vegetables, grain and olives. Fish, wine. You know what? National manpower increase probably isn't a terrible idea, so we'll get some grain. Oh god, we've got lots of choices for grain. And we can actually trade with Egypt again, so I think we might do that. Just because it keeps our trade with one person, or one nation. That's their Central Delta and Eastern Delta. Where are they? Central's up there, Eastern's up there. They're most likely to keep the Central Delta, aren't they? So, there we go. Now we've got national manpower increase as well, which gives us more soldiers. Basically, that's what that is. Right. Free idea slots. We have 3 free idea slots up here. We can fill them with anyone that's available, but what we really want to do is try and line them up to the correct thing, because then we get a bonus, like, for being a historically accurate Sparta, basically. So 2 military ideas and an oratory idea. We are going to embrace. We're going to embrace martial ethos, which gives us 10% extra morale to our armies. It does cost us 20 further political influence, but that's fine. Ensuring that our soldiers and veterans hold a prestigious place in the social hierarchy is key to their contentment and loyalty. So we're going to grab that one. And we also need one of these other 2, either ordered retreat or permanent shipyards. I don't think we're going to have much of a focus on the Navy right now. I mean, if you guys think we should focus on the Navy, then speak up. But I think we're probably better off picking Ordered Retreat to go with the other one, because it gives us extra reinforcement speed and extra army morale recovery. Excuse me, forgot I had Facebook still open. Just get that down. So, retreat can be far from dishonourable. Ensuring that all our warriors have a plan of action in the event of having to fall back will result in a much quicker recovery when they do. It doesn't quite feel very Spartan, but it feels more Spartan than shipbuilding, so we're going to grab this as well. And then we need an oratory idea. We've got sanctioned privileges, military administration, and hospitium. I think the more Spartan of the three is probably military administration, which improves the loyalty of our generals and admirals, which prevents them from being able to start a civil war, which is probably a good thing. By merging a clear, ordered, bureaucratic framework into our military hierarchy, it becomes far easier to coordinate large military reforms. And now you can see this is now checked, so all of our characters gain +5 loyalty, and we gain 10% extra national freeman output. I don't want to go too detailed into like how the game is played, because it's probably going to bore the shit out of most people. But you have 4 classes. You have slaves, tribesmen, freemen, and citizens. Slaves are the ones that produce tax and work your trade goods. So for Laconia, we generate olives in this province, and the slaves affect that. So they mostly drive your economy. The tribesmen provide manpower and tax, but it's like barbarians, right? It's like if you've got barbarian people living in your land. Freemen are your working class, your plebeians. They produce manpower. I don't know why it also highlights tax income. Apparently because some of the tax comes from them, I guess. Maybe not a lot of it, but some of it does. And then your citizens are like your upper class. They produce commerce and research. So that's all of your thinkers, your senators, all of that kind of thing. Your upper class. And we currently have 11 citizens, 12 freemen, and 5 slave pops in Sparta. We can also call down an omen. So all of these do different things. You can see here the top one is kind of not faded out. These are passive bonuses, so they happen all the time. And the reason that that's a thing is you can swap them out for different gods. So you can have 4 passive bonuses active at one time and 1 active bonus, which is the one underneath that's grayed out, kind of faded. That's what we're selecting here. So I think army discipline for the Spartans is probably a good active effect, especially considering that in this game having your army be able to beat enemy armies is pretty frigging important. If their army's better than yours, more disciplined, more morale, better trained, then you're just going to lose. So we are going to activate Athena Poliukos. I'm not going to read all of that, but Athena Poliukos is the protector of the city-state and associated with warfare and metallurgy both. She has been in the centre of Spartan worship for as long as anyone can remember, and is often invoked when our home has been threatened. We're going to invoke her now just for the discipline. We can also afford to have some inventions. I'm not actually 100% sure what army weight modifier does. But I'm going to take a look at what some of these things do. To be honest, I think that monthly ruler popularity gain is going to help us. Lowers supply usage, Mike. Thank you very much. We're going to get due process. Ensuring that everyone has recourse to appeal against actions or indictments protects both the people and gives our government an air of fairness. So we're going to spend the money on that one. I'm not going to spend more on a second one right now because we don't have a lot of money. Our ruler is unmarried and there is support for pretenders. This is our army, the first Stratos. I'm going to rename that. We're going to rename it to the Royal Spartan Army. And we are going to put our king, Arius I Agiad, in charge. He's 20 years old. He's got a martial ability of 10, which is the highest one we've got. So he's actually the most fitting commander for the army right now as well. So I'm going to put him in there. And we also have a navy called the First Nauticon. Don't know if I want to call it the First Nauticon either. We're just going to call it the Spartan Fleet for now because there's not going to be anybody... They're not going to do very much, to be honest. But we do need to preferably appoint a commander to that. And the way I'm going to do this, by the way, these are all kind of... In fact, we'll wait. Hang on. We'll see if anybody does want to sponsor characters. I'll talk about that for a second. So if I open the characters tab, we've got lots and lots and lots of characters. There's a lot of information on here, but essentially there's 4 different key stats: martial, finesse, charisma and zeal. And each one of them ties to military, governance, diplomacy and religion. And then there's a bunch of other stuff. This is their family name, and the ones that have got a colour on them are because they're like a great house. Think like Game of Thrones, Starks and Lannisters and stuff. It's that kind of thing. You have to keep the great families happy. The people that are just randoms, you don't necessarily need to keep them happy because they don't have much power behind them, which makes a lot of sense. So these are the people that you'll be able to sponsor if you wish. There are government positions. There's 8 government positions, 2 for each type, so 2 oratory, 2 martial, 2 finesse and 2 religion. And then there's also a researcher position for each one as well. And the way that I'm planning on doing this is the researcher positions will mostly be for younger people because it helps them to get better at stuff later on, basically. And then the government positions will be for older people. And then military command positions, preferably not young people, but kind of like, you know, when they hit their 30s maybe they'll start taking that sort of stuff. You want to be a general, Tyler. It doesn't quite work that way. I mean, we've only got the Royal Spartan Army right now, and they're being commanded by the king, the Basileus. So you can't be a general. But you could command the fleet if you wanted to sponsor a character. Currently, there's 2 Martial 9 characters. There's a 31-year-old woman and a 36-year-old man. My dad and uncles may have been in the Navy, but no thanks. Fair enough. I want any researcher. Alright, well that kind of makes it easy for us to show you your options then, Imhotep. We have 4 researchers. We have Cleonimus Agiad, who is the military researcher. He's 40 years old. You can see his stats. He's got 11 in martial. That's his highest one. We've got Pukoleos Tesiclid? Yeah. Pukoleos Tesiclid, who is the head of the Tesiclid family. He's 27 years old. He's got a martial of 10 and a finesse of 9 and a zeal of 7, which are all pretty decent. Our oratory researcher is... how old is that guy? He's 27, I said that. Epimenes Euryclid, who is the head of the Euryclid family. He's 34 years old. His best stat is 8 in oratory power, and he has a 1 in finesse, which is not very good. You can also see that they have traits here. So this guy is arbitrary, this guy is disciplined and intelligent, this guy is monotonous and greedy, and then our last one is Anaxicrates Tesiclid. He's a member of the Tesiclid family. He's 20 years old. He's got 11 in martial and 10 in zeal, and he's ambitious and a tactician. Those are the 4 researchers that we have right now. Do you fancy any of those, Imhotep? The religious one. So, Anaxicrates, yes, Anaxicrates. I hate Greek names. They're so hard. Anaxicrates Tesiclid. Alright, let me get that written into the document. Imitex. Anaxicrates. Oh, for God's sake. Tesiclid. Let's check that's how it's spelt. And I'm going to click this little star which will move him over here so we can see him. Although I'm just going to take it off for a second, because I also want to be able to see my character. There we go. There we go, Imhotep, you are now sponsoring Anaxicrates. So you are probably going to just stay in that job for a little while. I'm not gonna, because moving people in and out of jobs upsets them, so we don't want to be doing that. We do need a commander for the Spartan fleet though. I'm thinking we're just going to appoint Demophanes Asandrid here, the 36-year-old. He's this is prominence. This is basically how important they are, and then this next one is popularity, which is how popular they are with the people. Loyalty, obviously, and then corruption is how corrupt they are. We're going to appoint Demophanes the head of the navy, I think, just for the time being. And that, as much as it's taken the better part of 40 minutes, is going to mean we can now unpause the game and start moving. I do want to check what my traits are. Just disciplined. Nothing is more important to Arius than holding the line. Interesting. I do have a son called Acrotatus, but he's only 1. We should probably try and get married. But I don't know who to. How old are we? We're 20. Sort it by age. Deidamia Agiad. She's a member of the same house as us, but I don't think she's a close relative. Arrogant and cold. Wow, she's a charmer. Melena, High Marshal. It's not the highest though, the highest is Aristobule Tesiclid. Well, I tell you what do you guys think we should look for in a wife? What's the primary thing we should look for? Do we want somebody that matches us in age? Do we want someone with a high martial, high finesse, high oratory, high zeal? Do we want someone prominent? Someone corrupt? Imhotep thinks high martial, obviously. I think Imhotep might be, I'm keeping my actual comment to myself, but high martial is always good. Keeping my actual comment to myself. Okay. Personally go for someone in their 30s or older because it lowers the chance of them having a child which cause problems later. That's interesting. Do we not want them to have a child? We're talking about the king's wife here. I'm guessing that you're looking at like pretenders later down the line, Mike, but and I think if we're role playing it, we really want to have children. We don't know if our child will live. 8994. Melania or Milena. She is merciful. I think Imhotep wants to go for Milena. Anaxicrates suggests Milena. I mean, yeah, but we're role-playing, Mike. We're not min-maxing to trick the game into not assassinating people. If they want to assassinate people, they can. I think we're going to go with Milena Agiad. Oops. That was... fucked it up. Idiot. Arranged marriage. Milena Agiad. Boff. Blustering with excitement, Ares summoned his domestic aid. After far too long alone, he decided to extend an offer of marriage to the pulchritudinous young woman Milena of the Agiad dynasty. What the fuck is that word? The envoy reports that the young woman Milena almost swooned after receiving the news. It may be that Ares and Milena are an ideal match. Splendid! Let us arrange the festivities. Excellent, now we have a wife. So we'll let the game roll on. It's October 450 AUC. And we've received our first alliance offer from Kydonia, which, if you hover over the flag, I don't know if you can tell, it doesn't appear. Oh, it does. You can actually see it lights up with the one that it is. So they are a city-state down here on Crete. What do we think, guys? Do we want to ally with Kydonia? They're very small, but again, I mean, so are we, to a degree. Not seeing much in the feedback section. I think we're probably going to make this alliance just because it is an alliance. And that's pretty helpful. Would Corian not be a better ally? Potentially, but they haven't offered. So we'll go with Kydonia. I also want to see if I can build anything in Sparta. I can't afford to build anything in Sparta yet. But before we continue, I do want to check. We've got 2,000 heavy infantry, 2 cohorts of heavy infantry, 2 cohorts of archers. Our archers will engage first, then the heavy infantry. And if we had any light cavalry, they would be on the flanks. So what we really want to do is switch to bottleneck tactics, because it boosts archers and heavy infantry. There's another alliance offer, this time from Epidauros, who lives just up here. Not really sure that we want to do that. I do actually want to take a look at what our missions are. So we've got Spartan Restoration, which will be considered complete when you have consolidated all of Laconia. So I think we probably because we are Arius the First, and he is disciplined, he's clearly a very Spartan king. He's a very warrior king. I want to check the province map mode. Laconia is this southern section. I'm going to say no to these people, because I think we'll probably end up fighting them pretty soon. Yeah, Imatech said no as well. But what we're going to do is kick off the Spartan restoration mission. Arius, the Basileus of Sparta, has called for all Lacedaemonians to prepare for a long and arduous campaign to restore the Sparta of old. We have been ravaged by the Thebans, ignored by the Macedonians, and ridiculed by the Diadochi. It is time to put an end to the limits imposed on Sparta by others, and once again rise to the position we deserve, the defender of Greece. Watch and behold. We actually gain additional martial finesse and monthly popularity. Wow. So there's a few different ways of doing this, or there's a few different objectives. Okay, so we need to have 10 military experience for that. We need political influence for that one. Okay, so I think we're waiting on political influence to go back up. Once we've got 20 of that, we should be pretty good. Yeah, he's 12 martial. And I mean, the other thing is Sparta gets a claim on Leuctron, Messene and Mothone. Leuctron, Messene and Mothone. So we'll be fighting these people, Messene. Argos is offering us an alliance. I don't think we're going to go with it. What do we think, guys? Imatech? You'd take the alliance with Argos for now? Interesting. They are outside of the province of Laconia, I guess. So they could help us in our war to try and recover it. Alright, well, we'll go with Anaxicrates then. And we'll accept Argos' offer of alliance. I think we need to try and recruit some more troops, but heavy infantry is going to cost us 14 gold. Going to get another cohort of heavy infantry for the Royal Spartan Army. Speed the game up a little bit whilst we're in this kind of quiet period. The Antigonids and their hubris and folly, or in their hubris and folly, have chosen to once again resume hostilities with Cassander of Macedon, in a vain attempt to prove dominance over those known as the Diadochi. We can only wait to see what effect this will have upon the politics of the known world, and how many sons must die to sate the bloodthirsty appetites of tyrant kings. War in Greece. There we go. Now our army is 5,000 men. A mission task can be completed. The Helots of Messenia. The Helots of Messenia were once under rule. Their independence and arrogance is an affront to Spartan interests. We're going to grab it. Messenia have been an essential part of Sparta since time immemorial, until the Thebans, under the rule of the warlord Epidamnonus, fucking Greek names, honestly, Epaminondas, stupid names, invaded our lands and forced their independence on us. Since the city of Messene was founded, it has stood as an affront to Spartan interests, a pathetic attempt at a counterbalance to stop us from rising to power once more. Their arrogance will soon turn to fear. The poor people of Messene are potentially going to get killed here. Or we're going to get killed, one or the other. It seems Epimenes Euclid has gotten his hands on a lot of wealth, as he has started investing a great deal of silver into building a reputation for himself lately. Though it is unclear exactly where he found these riches, his efforts are surprisingly effective. With his increased popularity, Epimenes has started vying for a more powerful position in Sparta, shamelessly comparing himself to our basileus, Arius I Agiad. I mean, we're disciplined, but yep, time to share with the rest of us, Epimenes. I'm going to force him to share what he's got. There's movement to the north. Not too sure what's going on up there. Oh, Argos are in a massive war. Involving Phrygia of all people. So I don't know what's happening up there, but it's pretty big. We're going to attempt to recruit another cohort of heavy infantry. Though our rites took longer than we had expected, the priests have returned with auspicious signs. The gods have acknowledged our rightful claims on Messenia and blessed our campaign. Laconia will be united under Lacedaemonian rule once more. With the gods at our side, the helots are powerless to stop us. Grab that extra cohort. So now we can move on to these. Leprion is owned by Sparta or one of their subjects. That's over there. Okay. Helots once more is probably the next thing we want to go for. Which is when we conquer these guys. So take Laconia. Right. We're going to wait until we've recruited that extra cohort, but then we're going to go to war with Messenia. The statue of Arius I Agiad. The people of Sparta have raised a large statue of our esteemed ruler, Arius I Agiad. Though the statue is lacking in certain important areas, it would not be taken well if we were to rip it down. If we leave the statue up, let us hope it does not get too well known, as it could be somewhat of an insult to the monarch. That's interesting. What do we reckon, Imhotep? No, I think I want to go for 2 archer cohorts and 4 heavy infantry for the time being, because the archers will engage first, which will mean they'll be at the centre of the line, and the heavy infantry are on the side. You'll see when we fight a battle. And then the archers are basically supposed to lose, and then as they die off, the heavy infantry moves into the middle to fight. Grateful. We lose popularity doing that. But I suppose we are disciplined, so maybe we could translate that to him having the discipline to not say anything. So our 6th cohort is here. Gonna let the morale replenish, because it's taken a small knock from having the new cohort arrive. And then we're gonna go over here, declare war, and take Laconia. I'm not going to bother calling our allies in. They wouldn't accept anyway, but I don't think we need them. They don't have any allies either, so... Declare war on Messenia using war goal take Laconia. Done. And then we are going to march to Messene. Aha! My Basileus, a son has been born to Arius the First Agiad. We are told that the babe is named Apollodotus. I don't think he is. We need a name for this child. Bob. We're not doing Bob. You know what? We'll do Leonidas. It's about the only Spartan name that I know, so why not? Oh, there's the Messenian army. Well, we're now besieging their city. Ptolemy stirs, whether in defence of the tenuous pact between Macedon and Egypt, or for self-serving means, we cannot tell. All we know is that Egypt has begun marching on the Antigonids from the south. The future of Alexander's once great empire looks ever more in doubt. The hubris! Well, their army's jumping on their boats. We may want to try and cut them off. Okay, they're trying to besiege Sparta. If we can beat them in a battle, which now we're in one, so this is how the battles work, right? These are the morale bars. These are the cohorts on the battlefield. You can see that our archers are in the middle because we send them in first. They're supposed to fight and die, and as they fight and die, the heavy infantry will move closer and closer into the middle. So the enemy's got 3 archer cohorts and a light infantry cohort. We've already... Wow, we pretty much wiped the floor with them. I'm gonna pursue them. Because I want to defeat their army and then besiege their city so they can't come and fight us. Seleucid invasion. The conflict that the Diadochi is flaring up again. Sorry. The conflict between the Diadochi is flaring up again, with Seleucid armies crossing the border into Antigonid Phrygia. Get the navy out. We don't need the navy. The insanity of Basileus Arius. Uh-oh. Arius the First Agiad, ordinarily a man of sound mind and superlative business acumen, has been acting unusually. His personal advisor reports that Basileus Arius has started slavering at the mouth, uttering inane nonsenses, even proposing marriage to each and every member of his court in the space of an hour. We think he may have finally cracked. Oh dear. Yeah, I think we are going to summon the wisest minds in the land. It's going to put us into negative gold, but we'll cope. I don't really fancy having a lunatic king. Right now, at least. Tightening the strings, our dire fiscal management means we can no longer support national efforts in scientific progress. The money we save may be a blessed relief, but there is no telling how this might affect us in the long run. So we get some money back, but it causes us to lose research points for 2 years. But that's to be expected, all things considered. We can't fight them where they're at, because this is a fortress. So all the territory around a fortress, like, you have to take the fortress before you can move into it. So we're going to just have to besiege them. That has switched over because Sparta is also a fortress. So it controls the territory around it automatically, basically. So we're going to continue the siege. Bountiful olives. Our men in Sparta woke up to find large, massive olives, unlike any ever seen before. The local priests declare it a blessing of Athena. Some say it is even a show of preference to the rest of the world. Our high priest, Polygnotus Euryclid, suggests building a small shrine to celebrate the goddess, to thank her for the gifts she has given us. So we can either... What do we reckon? Do we want to build a shrine to Athena, or do we want to just be thankful? Still got to do an Elder Scrolls Crusader Kings run together. I'm waiting for CK3 now, Tyler, because that's got to come out this year, I think. How much does the shrine cost? 27.10. So technically we can't afford it. It will put us back into the negative. But we'll get another one of those pop-ups. Tyler saying build a shrine, Imatex saying be thankful. You know what? Because it's a tie and because Arius is disciplined, he's going to be disciplined enough not to spend money he doesn't have. We're going to be thankful for the blessing. So we can see the siege progressing. The way sieges work, it's currently, there's a minus 21% chance that they'll surrender, essentially. And every time the bar fills up, there's a chance that it will change further, so it gets minus 14, then minus 7, then 0, 7, 14, 21, up to 42%. So essentially you have to siege them out for a certain amount of time. Did I get Bannerlord yet, Tyler? No, I can't afford it. And honestly, like, as much as it looks good, it doesn't look that different to Mount & Blade Warband. Like, it's the same concept, it's the same engine from what I can tell. They've just added a few extra bits, and it's like, I don't know if I really want to pay for another Mount & Blade Warband. I already own Warband. What's the god benefits we have? We're currently... It will tell us when we can pick another one. I think we're honouring Athena right now. They upgraded a lot of the gameplay. Fair enough. I'm not super desperate to get it, to be honest. When it goes on sale, I'll probably pick it up. So you can see now, there's a 42% chance every turn that they will surrender, basically. Every time it fills up the bar. And we just have to wait until they actually do. No, it looks better for sure. But I just mean, like, it didn't seem like there was that much of a difference. The sacking of Messene. Arius I Agiad has led his men to glorious victory during the siege of Messene. The enemy flee in disgrace, and all that is left is to decide on how to treat the residents within. Needless to say, the spoils of war are likely to cause those back in Sparta to admire Arius greatly, but leaving such wealth in the hands of one man could cause problems in future. You know what? I mean, what do you guys think? I feel like with these sorts of decisions, like, this is very much a personal decision for Arius. So I'm probably going to choose for myself, but I'm interested to see what you guys think. Any that get him higher morale? No, I don't think so. That's not really what this is about. It's about personal popularity and wealth and stuff. No, they definitely don't improve martial skill. Roam freely. That's what I was going to pick, to be honest, Imatech. We will let the men roam freely. Siege of Messene is won. 4 pops captured that have been distributed as slaves like this. 4 slaves to the city of Sparta. So now all we really need to do is defeat the Messenian army. 6,000 against 6,000. But they don't have any heavy infantry. And their morale is... Oh my god, we wiped them out so fast. And this is what I mean by it's important to have a strong army. This doesn't have a fort, so once this fills up once, we're guaranteed to take it. Like that, which should put us at 100% war score, which means they can't do anything about the peace. They just have to give us what we ask. And we're just going to ask for all of their territory. The Messenian elite. After a protracted conquest, we have finally routed the Messenian armies and laid waste to their lands. During the sacking of their capital, many important prisoners were taken, many of them having previously held important positions in the Messenian Senate. They now languish in our dungeons, awaiting whatever fate we decide to impose upon them. So, I mean, pass judgment on important families essentially brings their families into our, like, character pool, but I don't really want to do that. That doesn't feel like the right thing to do, considering these people are basically considered like a lower class to the Spartans. And I don't think we want them to disappear. I feel like banish those of class and put the rest to the sword is the answer. Imhotep saying no quarter. Alright, we'll go with Imhotep. We shall go with Anaxicrates, or Anaxicrates rather. Our enemies deserve no quarter. And now, we have extra territory. I'm going to bring the Royal Spartan army back to Sparta. Helots once more can now be completed. Messenia has finally returned to the fold and become part of Laconia proper once more. The arrogant Helots have been put in their place, and we can celebrate with the knowledge that the gods sung of our victory from the very start, proving our cause was a just one. No longer will they act above their station in life. We can also recruit the Skiritai, because we now have military experience from the war. Which improves our light infantry as well. The rural Skiritai lives at the border between Laconia and Arcadia, and used to be loyal subjects of Sparta. We might convince them to return to our side and become an ally once more. The Skiritai were once a people loyal to the Spartan cause, living in the barren hills and mountains in northern Laconia and southern Arcadia. But after our defeat at Theban hands, they have chosen to stay out of our conflicts. Though rural and more akin to our Arcadian neighbours, the Skiritai were valiant warriors and an important pillar of our army. Having them return to us would prove a valuable boon. They were once loyal to our cause. Alright, and that'll finish on the 6th of October. Just trying to figure out which ones of these we want to be doing next. Lepreon. Alright, in that case, it looks like Lepreon is the next and final piece of the province of Laconia. So what we want to do here is we're going to go to covert actions. We're going to spend 20 political influence to fabricate a claim on their piece of the province of Laconia. Is light infantry even good? Well, I mean, if we've got bonuses to it, then yeah, I would say it probably is. The Skiritai youth. As we are negotiating with the Skiritai to return as one of our allies, a small group of younger Skiritai have abandoned their home to seek us out and ask for independent employment in our armies. It seems they feel their clan has been a bit too insular and not given them enough chances to leave their homes. So we can either take them in or we can send them on their way. What do we think? Imatech says find room. Anybody else? Doesn't look like it. I think we're going to find room for them as well. So now we've got 2 light infantry over here, and I am actually going to call them the Skiritai. The Skiritai need a commander. We will put 47-year-old Thucydides Priapid in charge of them for the time being, I think. Let me be 9 Marshal Waifu. You want to be Milena. She's now down to 8. She's 8 Marshal, not 9. Are you wanting to sponsor Milena, Tyler? We'll continue for the time being. Oh, the Olympic Games! Once more, the renowned Olympic Games are due to occur in the city of Olympia. The traditions surrounding these games are ancient, reputedly dating back to the days of mighty Heracles himself, and they are an occasion in which all of Greece rejoices. It is our custom to send the proudest, most able young Spartan athletes to compete on our behalf. We believe we have found 2 ideal candidates, a nimble-footed sprinter by the name of Chrypi, and a towering Adonis of a man who calls himself Anaxicrates. Which of these fine athletes should we send to compete in the games? Anaxicrates is, of course, Imatech's sponsored character. What do we think, guys? Imatech's voting for himself. Not really a shock, but I don't know if anybody's going to oppose you, Imatech. Is there bonuses? I don't know. I tell you what, we're going to send Anaxicrates. No opposition. However, it does seem that that vacates your job. Ah, that's interesting. I didn't know that. So now we need to select a new religious researcher. And we have 24-year-old Lanasa Agiad is the best for the job. So I think we're going to give her the job. We also have an unused trade route. If we import vegetables, move slave cost. I don't really move people around, so that's not a massive problem, to be honest. A local slave output would be good though. So we're going to get leather. We'll bring it in from Parva, I think. But where will you go when you return? I don't know, Imatech. You were the one that wanted to go. Autonomy! The industrious folk of Messini have excelled themselves, contributing their own personal funds to help develop the infrastructure of their fine city. We hope this attitude can be mirrored by some of our less loyal subjects. So basically they've banded together to build themselves a granary. So we can either say wonderful, in which case they get a granary. We can seize and divert the resources to the military, which gives us extra manpower but loses some popularity. Or we can get 20 gold and lose more popularity. But I think we probably want them to just be happy, right? What does a granary do? I want... Granary. Granary. Hello, there it is. Provincial food capacity. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong. Oh, we've gained a new trait. We are now cold. One could liken the heart of Ares the First Agiad to the icy rocks upon which Prometheus was bound, and yet still be considered generous. Jesus. Disciplined and cold. I feel like it is not their place to decide what goes where is the more disciplined and cold choice, to be honest. So we're going to go with that, because that's the more disciplined and cold thing to do. Oh, hello. The old commander. An ancient Skiritai commander named Poikestas Zenid has approached us for employment after hearing about our negotiation with his clan. It seems he used to fight for Sparta once when he was younger, and in his elderly years he wishes to make use of his skills once more for our sake. Huh. Do we want to employ Poikestas, or do we want to send him on his way? Can't input because I'm off at the games. Oh, Imatech taking the RP to a different level. I think we're going to employ Poikestas then, if Imatech's not putting in. We are honoured by your offer, Poikestas. And I'm actually going to put him in charge of the Skiritai. Or at least I will once the time runs out on the other guy. I would like to build some other buildings in Sparta. I think a foundry would be good. Starting experience 5% and population output. That's pretty good. I'm going to build a foundry in Sparta. Olympics concluded. The great Olympic Games have come to an end with much rejoicing and celebration. The highlight of this year's Games was during the prestigious chariot race, the Synoris. Hierax of Kydonia saved a fellow competitor from almost certain death when his chariot was overturned in the dusty mayhem of the race. Overall, the victor was declared to be Cremonides Polyperchid of Gortnia. Fucking Greek names. A first-time winner of the Olympics, whose brawn, virility and Heraclean vigour are beyond compare. He will go down in the annals of history as a champion of the Olympiad. Ah well, better luck next time. At least I tried. Recruiting the Skiritai. After several rounds of discussions, the Skiritai have accepted our deal, and will once again honour the ancient arrangements between our two peoples. Their expertise has been sorely needed, and we hope they will be as useful and loyal as they once were. We are happy they chose to agree to our deal. Light infantry discipline. I'm tempted, to be honest, to... okay, that needs changed to light infantry for sure. But I'm tempted to start, like, using light infantry in place of archers. So I'm going to move the archers to the flank and bring light infantry into the centre. And then we will actually recruit 2 cohorts of light infantry for the Royal Spartan Army. Lucky Who, hi! How are you feeling today? Matty, welcome to the stream, bud. I'm feeling okay, mate. I'm feeling okay. So there we go. That's a couple more units in the Royal Spartan Army. You were sleepy last night? I was. News from Cyrenaica? After the murder of their previous governor of Cyrenaica, Ophelus, by his supposed ally Agathocles of Syracuse during their joint invasion of Carthage, it seems Ptolemaic Egypt is once again staking claim to Pentapolis. They have dispatched Magus Magid to oust the local rulers, who have taken up arms to defend their cities against the Egyptians' aggressive invasion. A civil war has begun in Cyrenaica, which is down here. Is there a job you can fill in? There isn't. There's no free job right now, Imatech. It would tell us if there was. Grain rations, national population growth. Yeah, why not? Handing out portions of free grain to those who require it keeps the wheels of our civilization turning. We're gonna get that. How do I compare to the current advisor? I mean, I don't particularly like pulling people out of positions, Imatech. Once they're filled, they're filled. Also, you're equal to her. You both have 10 in zeal, so... Anaxicrates, you're only 23, you've got plenty of time. Sparta has built its foundry. Leprion is 70% claimed. Once it's 100%, we'll be able to invade them. %. Oh, I can actually change the commander of the Skiritai now as well to Poikestus. He's 64 years old, but that's fine. I'm going to have the Royal Spartan Army move to Mycenae. And we'll have the Skiritai... You know what? We'll have the Skiritai move there as well, but they're not going to attack with the army. They're going to stay behind. Doomsday, welcome to the stream. I this is the first time I've been back to it since release because I wasn't very impressed with it at release. The preeminent Xenophon Cteslid. Oh, what would it be? Tessiclid. Some say that throughout Sparta there is one constant. The deeds and character of Xenophon Tessiclid precede him. From the villas of the capital to the shabbiest border town, Xenophon has risen to great prominence, and his position as a public servant and aristocrat, and through his legendary private soirees, has the ear of everybody worth knowing in Sparta. He could no doubt make a useful domestic ally. I think the cold thing to say is what of it. So we're gonna go with that. Should the Skiritai stay in Sparta? No, I'm gonna use them like as a... I don't know how they would get around us, but if they did, we're gonna have them defending there. We now have a claim on Leprion. They don't have any allies. We're gonna declare war. This one should be very straightforward. We're just going to march the Royal Spartan Army in, hopefully win, and then besiege the city. That was a swift victory. All 3,000 of them just died in an instant, and we lost 92 men. Wow. I guess we're just going to wait until the siege is done then. Sack of the Arethusa Temple. The great temple in Syracusae dedicated to Arethusa has been sacked by the forces of Tyndaria. Our priests assure us that this can only bring bad fortune upon their people. Which one do we think we should go with, guys? I feel like the disciplined soldier cold response is who can blame a soldier for pillaging. Imhotep Anaxicratos is saying, or Anaxicrates is saying, we should remember the crime. No, I feel like it's closer to Arius' personality to say who can blame a soldier for pillaging. So we're sieging them down. That will give us the path to Olympia once we've got it. Cyrenaica defended. The Egyptian forces led by Magus Magid have been utterly routed by the Cyrenaican defenders, with Magus falling into the hands of their leader Epimenes. The siege of Serapeon was the turning point of the war, when the loyalist forces stormed the walls successfully despite horrific casualties. With this stunning turn of events, the Ptolemaic dynasty is already blaming Magus alone for this disaster, and will surely attack Cyrenaica in earnest once they have licked their wounds. Perhaps Egypt is weaker than we thought. Trying to have a look at this whilst the game's running. That should be secured. Spartan resurgence requires another building in Sparta. Null family, yeah, I saw that too, Imhotep. Little bit of a coding thing there. I think it may be because the character died before the event popped up. So technically speaking, his family doesn't exist. The sacking of Leprion. I'm not going to read this again because it's the same as we've already had. What do we think? Imatech saying roam free again. I think we can go with let the men roam freely. And actually, with that should come the end of the war. Thank you. And of course, I'm not going to read that again either, but the Lepreonian elite have been captured. What do we want to do with them? No quarter, says Imatech again. Definitely the cold thing to do, so why not? And now, the path to Olympia has been completed. With our conquest of Leprion, we have secured Triphylia and the path to Olympia. With the territory under our rule, we can ascertain the threat of the Eleans and control the route from Arcadia and Messenia to the north. It is for the best. Alright, we definitely want to get another building in Sparta so we can get Spartan resurgence. Just trying to figure out what we might want. We've got a lot of slaves. Having a mill to increase their output and happiness might not be a bad idea. So we'll build a mill in Sparta. I'm going to have the Skiritai stay in Leprion for a bit. As a kind of garrison. Megalopolis and Tegea. They're both allied to each other. I'm going to wait for a second until we've got Whoa, where the fuck did they get all of those allies from? Oh, they're in a defensive league. So all of these smaller city-states down here are in a defensive league together. Phrygia wants to ally with us. What do we reckon, guys? You missed the shenanigans last night, Matty? Yeah, but it was necessary to try and get my sleeping back towards what it should be. Imatech saying take the alliance. I don't see why we wouldn't. It seems like it's a crazy idea not to. Mike saying yes. We are going to ally with Phrygia. And now we're getting offers to export olives. We have options here. Kydonia wants them. Laconia wants them. No, sorry. Kydonia, Hierapetra and Rome all want olives. I don't actually know where Hierapetra is. Oh, okay, they're on the eastern end of Greece. Crete, sorry. Is Argos at war with the defensive league with Megalopolis? No, I think Argos is at war with who like no, they're at war with a bunch of other people, I think. Imatech saying juice Rome up. That's one option, but don't forget we are allied with Kydonia as well. I mean, I know they're only a single city-state, but still, they are our ally. Anybody else? Have you changed your mind now, Imatech, to Kydonia? It'll be easier to guard the routes if we need to. That's also true. Alright, we'll sell the olives to Kydonia. Yeah, we don't want to remove our surplus for the other two, so we'll decline those. And we can call down an omen. Honestly, I think we're just going to call the blessing of Athena Polyeukos again, because having that extra discipline on our army is probably pretty important. We also don't have a holy site to her, and I would like one if we can get one. Oh, it costs 400 gold to do. Okay, maybe not just yet then. We are losing money. We're going to stop paying fleet maintenance because we don't even use the fleet, so... A mill has been built in Sparta, which means Spartan Resurgence is now available to do. The reconstruction of our capital city is the first step in the second rise of Sparta. Though we care little for foreigners finding the city wanting, it is quintessential that it provides the tools we need to restore our great nation once again. One brick at a time. Excellent. I think we need a farming settlement building. That's what that mission said. But I don't think that that can be built in Sparta. No. It would have to be built down here. So we're going to build a farming settlement in Githaion. Well, no, we're not, because we don't have enough money. I'm still paused. What an idiot. You and the king are the same age, Imhotep. Pucoleus Tesiclid has died, murdered at the age of 33. He was the head of the Tesiclid family. He was a researcher. Good lord. Well, that now means that we need a new researcher for civic advances. He was the head of your family, Imhotep. The Tessiclids. She's 29, so I don't really want... She's kind of getting too old to go into that job. Your civic is not any good, Imhotep, otherwise the people that are best at it are at the top of the list. You only have 4. I think Simonides Hippolyte is probably a good candidate for it, to be honest. Although saying that, hang on. You know what, Imhotep? Your finesse is actually not that good, but your family now is considered scorned because it needs 3 jobs and it only has 2. So, if you want the job, I'm willing to give it to you to appease the Tessiclids, basically. But only if you want the job. I'll take it. Anaxicrates. Oh, idiot. Anaxicrates will now be our civic advisor. Or our civics researcher, sorry, not advisor. Making money in this game is hard. A child is born. A son has been born to Arius the First Agiad. We already have Leonidas. I mean, Menos is an easy name, so why not? A petitioner approaches. A senior citizen by the name of Thucydides Priapid approached our Basileus in private this morning. In a hushed voice he spoke of a vision of the near future, in which he was found by his loved ones, having been sacrificed to dark gods. With shaking hands he offered all his worldly goods to the state in return for our protection. We are disciplined and cold. I think convince him that all will be well is the colder of the 2 options. So will you go with that, I think? Yeah, we might... Well, the thing is, I don't think... If we called one of them Arius, they're not likely to be the next king anyway. Maybe we'll call the 3rd one Arius. 4th one? It'd be the 4th one, wouldn't it? Taxes is what we make most of our money from. Their happiness affects it. The mill affects it. So maybe output is the way to increase money. Okay. Because we really don't make a lot of cash right now. pay maintenance on buildings? I don't think we do. Does more pops equal more taxes? In a roundabout way, yes, I think it does. But the tax depends on how many pops you have. Well, you can see there the 15 slave pops at 154% output provides the following benefits. Base tax 0.46. So if we had more pops at 154%, they would provide more base tax. But at the same time, their happiness is affecting their output. The mill is affecting their output. Our ruler is affecting their output. So if you had more but they were less happy, arguably the difference wouldn't be, like, it'd be negligible. So I think more pops plus happier pops is basically the way to go. I mean, our freemen provide a little bit of tax, but